Hey guys, so my name is Noob40. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with me. I'm sure you've seen a couple of noobs out there. But basically, I'm a streamer. I'm just trying to create some content, and today I wanted to go over Vora and how she plays. I'm a mid-diamond player. I have around a 60% win rate with her. So if you guys are wondering how to play Vora or what to do with her, you come to the right place. Here I can detail a few things that you can do with Vora and what makes her one of the strongest flankers of the game. So I won't go over the basics. You guys can look at a wiki for something like that. But let me start with some techniques. Vora is not your standard get in and blow up everything kind of flanker. With Vora, you have to use your brain and know what you're doing to be effective. So here's how to kill. First, your standard combo. You slash out with primer fire. Then you use your Q, slash, and heavy, right? So this will do a lot of damage, and it will normally be enough to kill something in a duel. A squishy champion. Obviously it won't kill front lines, but this is your go-to whenever you're dealing with squishy champions.
You were good dancing partners.
Another ability that you can, or another combo that you can do is, say now this Victor, he's playing around an angle where he can just run away and go to support, but he wants to get some damage on you. So you attack him like this, but he'll just start running away after you slash and Q him, right? So sometimes you want to do something along the lines of this.
And I still want
So this Victor, he was taking trickle damage. His HP was around here. He still thinks he's safe. So while he still thinks he's safe, you can do something like that, where I use my cripple right before my heavy hit, and so the cripple prevents him from running away, and then the heavy foot seals the deal. So that's something you want to use on enemy supports. It's something you want to use on damages like a Mani. It's something that you want to use on anyone who you think is going to try and run away from you, and you don't have your cripple yet.
selfishness is a
So you'll just get a feel for it. It's extremely useful for killing supports and people who want to run away.
Tools to enhance my advantage.
Another thing you can do is using your Q right after your final hit of the combo. So say now you're fighting something like a Fernando. And Fernando, he doesn't want to waste his shield cooldown. So what he'll do is he'll try to burn you while you're attacking, and then whenever he gets below a certain amount of HP, he'll shield up. So what you want to do is you want to still lull them into a sense of security. And then whenever they want to fill up the shield, it's too late. Rip Fernando. So that's generally a really strong way to use your Q. You just have to be intelligent about it. Like use it smart, and it'll do you a bunch of favors. Now here's another way where you can fight. So say you're dealing an enemy damage and you think you're gonna lose. They're dead. Rip tip. So you can do slash Q and then ult, and that will normally finish anyone within a second. But say now their support is healing them, and you don't actually have enough damage to finish them. Don't panic. You have the time to slash out another shot before the stun ends. So you see there, I was able to slash out that shot, and then Obliteration, which basically got him killed. This should not be used intentionally, right? You should be aiming to do this and then ult them, right? You shouldn't be aiming for that, because the Obliteration lockout can get you killed very easily.
My power grows and grows.
Now, normally after doing this, you can immediately vine out. So let's say I ult him, I get him killed. You see how I tried to vine for like almost a second and couldn't, and then finally vined out? This is dangerous. So you don't want to do it whenever people are looking at you, but it is an effective way to finish someone who you thought would die from your ult but did not. So now I'll move on to how you should vine. So obviously you use your vine to position yourself, right? Say now you need to get to high ground.
I should buy tools
You need
enhance my
to get to high
advantage.
ground without waiting for this, because while jumping up here, Kinessa could finish up setting up a sight line and then just snipe you as you jump up. But here, you get there much faster, right? Another way you want to do is you always want to jump before your Tendril. So you use it, so this allows you to get more effective distance, and the momentum carries you.
Dance for me, Rich.
So it's really effective for gaining distance and speed. So you always want to jump. Like say now, it doesn't want me to vine here. Like this is the limit of where it's vine, where I can vine. But if I jump up and then vine, I can vine there. So I get much more distance, much more speed. Whenever you're diving an enemy damage, like a Kinessa or a Victor or whatever, don't do this. They will focus fire you as you're vining in on them, and you'll look like an idiot and die. What you want to do to approach them is circle around like that in a kind of strafing motion. So what you're doing is you're making yourself much harder to hit, and you also know how to adjust your cursor to attack them because you know which way you're moving. They don't. So something like that will allow you to kill Victor in a duel rather than this, where he kills you before you can kill him. So that's a very useful way to use your vine. Another way is to get your start damage on, and then vine over their head and finish them, right? Doing this, you'll usually, if you're not that experienced with Vora, you'll usually miss a couple shots. Let me try and miss one. So they won't die if you do this, and you miss. So what you want to do is do this if you miss, and they'll still die. So it's a very good way to attack them. Or something like that, where you use your Obliteration offensively and killed them in the invincibility frames. So there's also going to be a lot of times where you're just walking across a sight line. Oh shit, Victor's shooting at me. Don't try and fight him. He's probably already gotten you to half HP. You're not tanky at all, and you don't have that setup to win the duel. Whenever they caught you, I'm almost dead, right? You don't want to start dueling because you're already at a disadvantage. So what you want to do is you just want to vine away, or ult behind the corner and vine again, right? So this is how you escape with Vora. This is how you keep your advantage, stay alive, and prevent the team fight from turning into a 4v5. So now I'll go over poking. So with Vora, your poke is one of the best out of all flankers, right? Eevee can teleport for free, you know, get a shot, run out, right? But Vora can continually duel an enemy around a corner. So see now, whenever I'm attacking, these shots, they're partially clipping through the wall. So this is going through the wall and killing this pit. This offers you some insane potential in poke. And it's especially helpful if you have cards like the Maul's Embrace that allow you to angle someone better than they can angle you. So this will allow you to kill someone much better around a wall or something like that, where a hit scan champion, shit, I can't shoot through this pot if I'm hit scan. But you basically have so much room to clip through that pot with your damage. Look at this slash. It covers the whole hitbox of this box, but I can clip half of it through objects, walls, whatever, right? So that means that I'm able to get a lot of damage on people without them even being able to see me. And because I'm faster than them, I see which way they're moving, I move the other way, and I keep that advantage. That's where Nimble and the Maul's Embrace come into play. They give you an advantage, they win you fight, they win you games.
I must equip myself for battle.
So now I'll talk about how to use your Obliteration. So say now you're walking, you walk into a room, you take a bunch of damage. Oh shit, let me panic. Let me use my Obliteration. Don't do that.
A killer pirouette.
Never do that. This is going to kill you. Because, oh shit, I took a bunch of damage. I'm already one. Let me Obliteration. I can't bind until about a second later. So that means I die. You die. You die if you do this. Don't do this. Say now you're walking around a corner. Oh shit, I took a bunch of damage. This is fine. Look, the lockout of your Obliteration was active while you're around the corner. So then you're able to bind out, right? Before they're able to peek that. Oh shit, where did Vora go? Right? So this
I should buy tools to enhance my advantage.
is fine. Because this saved you. This Obliteration right here is not. Make sure not to do this, and if you die doing that, make sure to correct your mistake in some way. Using your Obliteration is also really good if you want to finish someone, because it does that extra damage close range that you need that can finish an enemy pretty easily. This is also very useful if they're getting healed, right? You Obliteration, you kill them. But if you Obliteration and it doesn't kill them, then you're probably fucked, right? So make sure to use it only after you've done enough setup damage. Disrupting the enemy is also extremely useful. Let's say now it's a Cassie, right? Cassie doesn't do a lot of damage in general, right? She does 680 per second. The scary thing about Cassie is her burst. So she can do things like, you know, black shot, right? And suddenly half your HP is just gone. You know? So, but what happens if you Obliteration one of her shots and you don't take any damage? That's huge for your duel, because suddenly she's locked out from shooting another shot and you've just gotten 503 damage on her. This wins you duels, this saves your life. A Shaolin, Sand Trap Arrow. You hear the ding right before he shoots. You use Obliteration. You save your life, right? Anara wants to ult you. Obliteration. You see Sarah. You hear gaze into the abyss. Don't be gay. Obliteration. This will save you life. This will save your life. This will allow you to make plays. So definitely use Obliteration to cancel any CC or any burst that you can see coming. You know, you're diving Strix. He's about to shoot again. Obliteration. You know, something simple as that can save your life. Can change the outcome of a duel. On Vora, you generally want to get Cauterize. Cauterize is your best friend. Vora's DPS is countered by healing. If someone is getting healed, Vora doesn't have much to do. If she's done this and they were getting healed, if they got healed just over that threshold of where Vora did this and they didn't die, Vora then has to wait an entire other second to kill, which means you're actually not going to win the duel that you should have. You lost it. So Cauterize is extremely helpful towards winning a duel, saving your life, because you don't have that much DPS. You have a set amount of DPS that you can use in every duel. Nimble. This is obviously extremely helpful because it allows you to angle people much better. It allows you to retreat. It allows you to engage. It's everything, right? Nimble will give you so much of an advantage in fights. It's not even funny. So Nimble is actually, I usually start with Caught Nimble because Nimble is crazy good on Vora, especially with the Maul's Embrace. Life Rip, it's okay. I mean, say now you get the ambush like you should. You already, because you had Life Rip, you were getting healed preemptively, and because your damage is dot damage, you're still getting healed even while they're turning around and shooting at you. So this can turn your, 2,100 HP, for my example, into 2,200 HP, which can mean the difference in surviving, one more Andro shot in combinations with items like Haven or something like that. So it's a cheaper alternative for a little extra sustain. And it's also pretty helpful if you say you want to gather stacks on something like a Fernando before you duel with something, or an Anara or whatever, and take a little bit of poke. That Life Rip will keep you able to engage. So Life Rip is useful, but it's really not as useful as Haven or like Nimble or Cauterize, especially in terms of winning fights or winning duels, because that HP is not as valuable as your positioning, and it's not as valuable as your ability to deny heals, and it's not even as valuable as Haven because it'll block the burst, which is your weakest. It's the thing you're weakest against, basically. Burst is not good for Vora, because if you didn't Obliteration that burst, you have a very low HP pool, you're probably going to die. Especially if they have Cauterize and suddenly your sustain doesn't mean much. There's an 800 heal, by default max stacks, and you hit a Q, 800 heal. That is going to be nothing under Caught 3. That 800 heal turns into 150 extra HP, which won't save your life. So yeah, Haven and Blast Shields are really good, and then obviously Chronos. Chronos allows you to use your mobility more often. It allows you to use your burst more often. It's just really good on Vora. So you should be buying Chronos, you should be buying Haven, you should be buying Nimble, and maybe some Life Rip, right? Morale boost is also very good if you're using your ult a lot. They have a lot of high ER tanks. You do this, you kill the tank, right? That can be pretty useful, or you want to run away more often. Morale boost, very nice. Master Riding, it's pretty good. I mean, you're able to position better, but keep in mind, Vora is not your standard flank. Like, she doesn't have that high DPS. Instead, you have to outplay people, and you also, Vora requires setup, because she needs her stacks before she dashes, before she goes in and kills something, right? So oftentimes, Master Riding won't help you as much as you think, because you can still get to that insane position by simple usage of your
I
vine.
should buy tools to enhance my advantage.
Other flankers don't have this kind of mobility, and as such need Master Riding, but Vora doesn't need it as much. But if you're still playing on a long map like Ice Mines, Fish Market, it's still a very useful buy. Resilience. Say now you can't Obliteration, the CC. Say now it's something like Dumble, where you're never gonna react, or Pipple, or Dumba's going stun Dumba and is just like going with Kono, you know, like stunning your ass constantly. And by the time you finish the lockout from Obliteration, he has another stun ready. You know, that shit's not fun to deal with. Get
I must
Resilience.
equip myself for battle.
If they have a lot of CC, Grover Cripple. You're not going to be able to reliably counter this every time. So it's better just to buy Resilience and not die to it.
Enemy killing spree.
Bulldozer is also kind of low-key helpful into one character, Ying. Ying likes to place her illusions in front of people. This can deny your damage. So say now that heavy hit gets blocked by an illusion.
Enemy rampage.
Suddenly this illusion has to take 3 more of my hits to die. That's bought that person an extra 3 seconds of where you can't do anything, because while your projectile being really big is good for fighting through walls, it's not so good for fighting into Ying illusion. So some Bulldozer might help you out. It's probably not worth it though, not gonna lie. Veteran, this is worthless for you. Illuminate, no thanks. Rejuvenate, no way. If you're using kill to heal, maybe, but you have an 800 heal in your base kit, and you can increase it with cards like a Broken Path, Sharpen Resolve. So you don't really need kill to heal. You already have kill to heal level 3 and more in your kit. You don't need it more. And Illuminate. Don't buy Illuminate. You have a reveal. I can see this Cassie behind a wall if I hit her once. This guy goes on invis, you hit her once, suddenly she's revealed. Don't buy Illuminate. Don't be brain dead.
Slaughter
not
before
good.
the storm.
Okay. So now I'll go over loadout. With Vora, your loadout is kind of important, kind of not. But you want to have some key cards. So with Vora, a Dance with Fate is really, really good. This is the best vine cooldown option. It allows you to position better, duel better, everything, because you always have your cooldowns. A Sharpened Resolve is also really, really nice. It gives you stacks whenever you need them, or it gives you more healing from every your stacks, and you're always getting rid of your stacks. So this acts as basically Life Grip, like 3 in your base kit. So having a sharpened resolve is a good alternative to something like Life Grip or something like that. Another really good item is the Maul's Embrace. This is incredibly helpful and maybe one of the best cards in Vora's kit. What may come. This DR is also extremely helpful because every level of this card gives you an effectively around 200 something HP. Wait, did I do it right? It gives you a lot of HP. It gives you more HP per level than a new purpose, but it's situational. So you want to use both of these cards in your decks. You don't want to just use Milky Come, or you don't want to just use a new purpose because it's not going to help you as much. This is increasing the max cap of what you can do, and this increases the situational cap. So you want to have both active at once. These are very good cards. A Broken Path is also really good. It doesn't quite act as Life Rip from the Sharpened Resolve, but it is pretty helpful. Say now you have to take a duel with someone and you didn't have time to garner stacks, or you just use your stacks. This will heal you no matter what, as long as you hit your Dark Siphon. So this is pretty reliable. It's good sustain. It turns your Q from a 300 HP heal to a 500 HP heal. So it's very nice to have. Crypt's Innocent. This card is your failsafe. It's your Eerie Presence on Vora. This card will allow you to miss your Q and still be okay, or miss your Q in a in a long range duel and get a little bit of it back. It's just nice to have. Another card I have is Elegant Pairing. This card is better in a double Tendril build, but this allows you to reduce the cooldown of Dark Siphon and Obliteration when using your Tendril. So say now you use your Tendril at the start of a duel and attack Q, use another Tendril, you'll have your Q up more often, and that's always good. And it also helps Obliteration. So it's just a nice card to have. Other cards that she has, for example, Otherworldly Tether. I don't like this one that much because of the 8-second cooldown. This 8-second cooldown restricts it to one Vine only build, because with Relentless Presence, your Vine is on a 12-second cooldown. So basically each Vine is on a 6-second cooldown with that talent. And then suddenly it's not going to take advantage of this card, right? So it's only useful in one Vine builds, but it does provide more HP per level than what may come. Probably will negate from the enemy. So it is useful, but only if you really want it. Because you'll want in one Vine builds, you'll want to use your Tendril only for escape, and this shield just helps you escape. It's not really that good otherwise. This card, this Ruthless Elegance, increase the effective knockback applied by Obliteration. The knockback by Obliteration isn't much to begin with. Only 8% per level is bad, and after you use Obliteration, you're locked out from doing anything for a duration of about a second, and they kill you, right? And if you kill someone with your Obliteration, the knockback wouldn't matter in the first place. So it's not a good card to use. I wouldn't use this, except if you're dealing with something like Bounce Health Buck, and he pounces on you, and you use Obliteration, he gets sent flying away, right? That's very good for the duel. It denies his damage, it sends him away, so he can't do even more damage, right? But it's not that useful because instead of, say, using your Obliteration, you could have just Vined away instead, and then got the same, you know, benefits that you would have otherwise. Never use this. Never use False Idol. Don't do this. This is bad. This gives you movement speed for 5% per level, and lifesteal 5% per level. Which sounds good, but it's only for 2 seconds. And it's after you're below 40% HP. So Vora's HP is 2000 HP. So basically you're saying, okay, after I'm one shot from every enemy, give me a little bit of lifesteal, a little bit of movement speed for no amount of time. That's worthless. It'd have to be at least 4 seconds to even consider it, and even then it's not that great. If it was below 60% with that low of a card cooldown, yeah, doable, but otherwise no. This card is not good. Don't use this. This, it's alright. I wouldn't say it's good. Because you're normally not using your Obliteration on enemies unless you're dueling him, and it's crap ult gen. Like, you don't have your Obliteration all the time. It's literally a 12-second cooldown. So this isn't good. Don't use this. This card is also really bad because then the only scenario that it's useful to you is whenever you're finishing someone with your Obliteration and you're getting that little extra sustain. If you invest 5 points into this card, this is kill to heal level 1. This is not good. This is terrible. You can get life flip level 3 on Sharpen Resolve, you know, 3 or 4, right? This is not an effective use of your points. Don't use this card. So now I'll move on to loadouts. So this Vora has you know, some nice talents. This talent is bad. Never use this. This talent is good. This talent is good. So let me go over the scenarios in which you want to use this over this. So say now you're going into, oh well, look, an Exterminate Furia. Oh, and the enemy team also has a Grover. Well shit, that's a lot of healing. You'll want Unyielding Pressure because you as Vora have a certain amount of DPS that you can do. And once that DPS is out, you are locked out for a second or two before you can start doing more DPS. This is really bad into double support. So what you do is you buy, or you choose Unyielding Pressure, take the L on the mobility, and suddenly you can do more. Because this additional 10% means a lot, especially when dueling double support comps. With this talent, you want to use a loadout with the Maul's Embrace, some extra HP because you won't be vining as much. Your vine is literally only for an escape. It's not for much positioning anymore because you need to save it for escape. You don't have 2 vines. And then you'll want to use the heal card like Sharpen Resolve, Basic Life Rip, or you have Conditional Life Rip, which is a Broken Path. So both cards are very good. Both cards would save your ass. And it's just nice to have. If you're having a Broken Resolve though, you probably want something like what's the card? Unified in Purpose. This is a great filler. And so yeah, you want a deck with movement speed, you want HP, and you want some sort of sustain. This is really good for Unyielding Pressure. You can also make a loadout like this where you sacrifice some HP on for more Crimson Ascent, which is somewhere around here. So say now I'm running this at a 4, and then I have the Maul's Embrace like I need, and I don't have that much HP. So what this will allow me to do is this will allow me to still poke at range with the Maul's Embrace, and the Crimson Ascent gives me a little bit of leeway on whether or not, you know, I hit my Siphon, right? And then whenever I hit my Siphon, I get that extra 150 damage or 150 healing, and I've gotten the extra poke from my Dark Siphon. So this is also a very good loadout for fighting at range. And then of course, if you're using a smaller load map, just go with something like this. This is really, really good. And then if you aren't playing into double support, then you're free. So you can either go something where you're constantly diving the enemy, you have lots of DR, lots of Vine cooldown, you basically play wherever you want, right? This is very fun to play. Or you play something with, you know, the Maul's Embrace, you're diving people with some DR, but you don't have Vine cooldown. You can go something like this, which is really, really fun to play. Or you can go something like this, where your best bet is to duel people with these two cards, A New Purpose and What May Come, and basically use your mobility purely for duels. So this can also work really well. Vora is really, really, really strong. She has an inherent combination of CC, she has counters to CC, she has very good mobility, her positioning, all this is insane, right? And so it makes her able to choose her fights and makes it very difficult for other champions to outduel or even run away from her. So she's very strong against the majority of the champions. But she is weak against some people, and I'd like to highlight a few. So obviously she's weak against double support because you have to sacrifice one of your vines for a better chance at killing anything. She's weak against Dredge, just because of all that sustain that he has. You can't really do much to him, a good Dredge, because what they'll be doing is they'll be running this card and they'll be running this card, and even with Caught 3 it's kind of really fucking hard to deal with them, especially if they're also running this card. Like, Dredge players that do this are really toxic and really effective. So you don't want to fight against a Dredge that has all this. You have a limited amount of DPS. You're not gonna bust through all this even with Caught 3. So Dredge is really strong to fight against. Lex has a superior version of wall hacks to you. So he knows where you're playing, he knows when you're gonna peek, and he'll run in with this little talent right here, Discovery, and he'll kill you in 4 shots. So it's not fun to play against Lex, and you don't have the damage to deal with him. So he's very strong against you. This one, this auto aim bitch, she will destroy you if she's good, and she will get destroyed if she's not, because her kit, her Grace, is really, really on a low cooldown, and it's really hard to duel a Leon, especially if she's running Alacrity and she has a Swift Jade, because what happens is that she shoots you, you know, like she tries to keep you at mid-range because her shots are more reliable and she has auto aim, and you don't have that. So she can engage really quickly. She's really dangerous to fight without a cripple because of this card. This card will allow her 2 dashes, and if you miss 1 shot, you're fucked. Right? Whereas Leon can miss like 3 and still be fine. And you can't use her Obliteration on her because she has this thing, which basically means, haha, you're dead, right? But at the same time, if the Leon is bad and they use this early and don't win the duel against you, then you can Obliteration and finish her and spray on her. So make sure to be toxic to Leon players because no one likes Leon players. Sorry, Bolt. Okay. So another player that you want to be scared of, Tiberius. Tiberius is normally alright, right? He doesn't do that much damage in general. You know, 650 every 0.7 seconds. That's worse than Cassie. The problem is this ability. He has a really good attack and movement speed, and what Tiberius players will do is they'll run lots of HP, they'll run lots of healing. What does that mean for you as Vora? You have a limited amount of DPS. The same situation as Dredge, except this one's more dangerous because this one, even if you don't take the duel with him, he can heavy blade you, slow you down, and then kill you, right? Like, he can just explode that. That's half your HP gone and you're slowed. And then he comes in with a Q. Or he can hit you while you're vinding around, much more reliably than any Dredge could. And that hit applies caught, whereas Dredge kind of only has his harpoon to deal with you. So while you can't do anything to Dredge, he can't do anything to you, right? Tiberius will just destroy you if he's got the same skill level as you are. And then finally, Zen. The Zen is not a fair matchup because you can't really, like, you can bait his counter, you can wait to use your double hits, but oftentimes you can't really do anything to him because